I disagree with those who say, in the name of fairness, the Sussexes should either back up these damaging allegations made by Scobie or publicly repudiate them. I will say now, I want to see a very public free-for-all where the Sussexes are blasted out of the water once and for all. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the King YouTube channel. We all know that Scooby-Doo is Meghan's favorite cheerleader, her favorite mouthpiece, but neither she nor Harry has said a word in defense of the royal family over these incredibly damaging accusations of racism. But seriously, folks, why exactly should they speak out? A lot of people on the internet are saying stuff like, oh, the royals should keep a dignified silence and not answer to Meghan's attacks. The royal family should completely blank them. Well, just think about it. Harry and Meghan are doing exactly that. They are keeping a silence, although I wouldn't call it dignified. King Charles and the rest of the family can't really expect them to speak out and denounce Scobie's book if they themselves are not ready to speak out publicly when they're accused of being racist. I mean, the truth is, what is good for the goose is also good for the gander, even when the gander is a royal gander. But anyway, moving on. Conservative Member of Parliament Bob Seely is putting forward a bill over the next few days, and it's going to encourage Parliament to strip the two of them of their Sussex titles. Now, the one person who could possibly stop this from coming to fruition is the King. Now, in the past, King Charles has always maintained that he does not want to take the titles off them, and he doesn't want to remove the two invisible children from the line of succession. This is definitely going against public opinion, but see, Charles avoids confrontation. He hates it more than anything. It's often talked about amongst palace staff and usually accepted in wider circles that Camilla, Anne, Catherine, and Sophie want to see Harry and Meghan publicly crucified for everything they have done to the family. These are strong women, and they are such a good support system for Charles. He should be so thankful that they're there for him, but most importantly, he should listen to their concerns. Members of staff in the royal household are the same. They can't understand what the king is waiting for. Charles and his hesitance to stop Meghan and Harry is really leaving the door open for Meghan to continue her attacks against the royals. This woman is relentless. She's not going to stop. And why should she? She believes that she's winning this race. What is concerning for Charles, though, is what's coming up next. He has to know about the murmurings that headed the late Queen's way from concerned Kensington Palace staff in late August of 2018, a few minutes after Meghan married Harry. Staff talked about Meghan's interest in the royals not acknowledging the part of the family played in colonialism in the past, and it seems that she had asked staff members why the Queen didn't make a formal apology to those Commonwealth countries who had suffered slavery. And this should have absolutely been a warning sign to Her late Majesty, and it probably was, but see, she knew that her time as Queen was coming to an end, and maybe she figured that Charles could handle it at a later date if the subject got worse. But have no doubt Meghan is on a roll now. She is denigrating the royal family on a daily basis, and there is only one person who can stand in her way. The Montecito moaners have been causing all these problems, and they said themselves that somebody said something about skin color causing even more problems. The royal family have never said anything to cause these problems. I mean, shouldn't people who make allegations like these be required to clarify without the victims of the accusations being shoved into the same boat? How much longer is this game going to continue? I think 5 years is more than enough. And a thought just popped into my head. If King Charles is so paralyzed with fear by the thought of conflict with Harry and Meghan, so that he's going to screw over the rest of the family, well, maybe it's time for him to either retire and let William manage the whole issue, or maybe it's time for the monarchy to come to an end. And I would not like to see that, but still, the king has got to be strong. The truth is, it's part of the job, and I understand it is not a pleasant part of the job, but if King Charles can't do it, then maybe he should step aside and let William. There is a saying, if you snooze, you lose. You've heard it before. Well, it looks to me like King Charles is snoozing about right now. And down the line, there are going to be repercussions he doesn't want to have to face, especially if he neglects to remove Harry's titles. The problem is, this never-ending Sussex soap opera is jeopardizing the viability of the monarchy, both in the present and in the future. The previous and current monarchs have responded like they didn't know what to do. Protecting the monarchy is the job of the monarch and Parliament too. And the monarch seems like either he doesn't want to or he can't, and Parliament is moving too slowly on this. And this means that failure is possible. One thing, though, that Meghan and Harry realize all too well is that as soon as Prince William takes the throne, they are done, and they know this, so their window of opportunity to create havoc for the royal family is slowly going to close. Charles does love his son, but he hates what's going on. It is still his son, but it's wrong what Harry's done. Anyway, I don't believe that Charles is the one Meghan should worry about. The one who is going to stomp on these two is William, and he's next in line. Now, maybe Charles doesn't want to cut off Harry, but I have a feeling William is not going to hesitate to do so. Does the king really want to go down in history as the eccentric eco-warrior and political meddler who couldn't keep his own house in order? He spends way too much time focusing on the wrong stuff. He is the king, and I do believe he's a lovely, gentle man, but at the same time, he has got to figure out his priorities. Finally, a message for good King Charles. Do you share the faith that guided your mother's time as the queen for so many years? If so, please look at Proverbs 20:26. When you have been ordained as the next in line to be king and have held your coronation, there are words in the Bible meant for only the king and every king who has come before you and also after you. One of the duties of the king is to smite the unjust and the bad who lead good people astray. And maybe it's the part of his job that he doesn't want to do, but every job has unpleasant aspects. It doesn't matter what one's career is. When a child struggles with learning for a teacher, when a patient can't stop illness guided by a doctor, when your football team loses in spite of playing well. There are so many examples of the difficult part of life that truly is bittersweet for everybody. And a king, well, he's supposed to uphold justice, and he's supposed to throw the chafe of his subjects under his wheel in order to crush the evil and separate it from the good. The greater good must always be upheld. Only the king, though, can control the narrative of some of these events surrounding him, as the power was bestowed only upon him. He has to speak up. He has to authorize his resources to restore what is right, what is true, and what is good for the kingdom. Every child in the kingdom needs to see good win over evil in this situation. Or why does any subject want to be the light in your kingdom when evil is just winked at and the head is turned away from it, just hoping the evil is going to suddenly disappear? It's not going to go away because it's not being fought against. And yeah, Charles does have an epic fight of good over evil. He needs to show his people this worries him, and he needs to show them that he's always going to be on the side of what is good. And he's going to be ready to fight for his people to uphold good, even when the evil comes from somebody within his own family. The difficult and heartbreaking part of being the king. I mean, nobody said that to be a good king would be easy. Charles's mother is Exhibit A of a monarch willing to take the mantle and step into her duties, whether they're easy or hard. She was always going to do what's right for her people. My video has ended. Please follow us to get more updates in the future. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.